start out this morning with just a little bit of gratitude. I feel incredibly fortunate to work for this organization. And that really starts with our ownership group, with Mel Raines.
If you tune into mainstream sports media right now, all you'll hear is chatter about playoff brackets, rookie debates, and the daily chaos of the WNBA. But if you block out that noise and focus on what's happening behind the closed doors of Indianapolis, you'll notice something entirely different. It's silence, the eerie kind that comes right before a financial storm big enough to rip the roof off the entire league. While fans argue over stat sheets, the Indiana Fever front office is laser-focused on one date circled in red: the 2026 free agency window. That moment is shaping up to be the black hole of women's basketball, the point where everything bends, shifts, and reshapes. And the Fever are quietly constructing a plan powerful enough to weaponize it. This isn't just roster tinkering. It's a blueprint for a takeover. The headlines about the Fever GM aren't about standard contracts. They're about a coming revolution in the value of the women's game. Insider leaks suggest the organization is clearing financial space to offer deals that would have been unthinkable, maybe even illegal under the salary cap, just 2 seasons ago, and these moves aren't about survival. They're about dominance. The entire operation revolves around 3 pillars: the economic supernova known as Caitlin Clark, the sudden breakout of Lexie Hull, and a rumored all-out pursuit of the league's favorite villain, Sophie Cunningham. The numbers being tossed around aren't normal raises. They're the kind that shatter markets, the kind that build dynasties, the kind that pay like NBA money. The age of the broke franchise is over. The Fever have cash. They have vision. And they're ready to purchase the future. But to understand the scale of this 2026 master plan, you can't just watch the players on the hardwood. You have to look up at the strategist in the luxury box. The return of Kelly Krauskopf to the Indiana Fever isn't just a comeback. It's a calculated deployment. She's the architect who built the franchise from nothing and constructed the legendary 2012 championship squad led by Tamika Catchings. But what makes her return truly dangerous for the rest of the league isn't her WNBA resume. It's what she did after she left. She spent the last several years as a high level, after years as an executive with the Indiana Pacers. Krauskopf returned to the Fever carrying NBA-level financial expertise, experience built in a league where general managers navigate luxury taxes, supermax deals, and cap manipulation strategies like the 2016 surge that allowed Golden State to sign Kevin Durant, and now she's applying that same aggressive, big-money mindset to a WNBA landscape on the edge of a historic financial transformation. She understands that 2026 will mirror an NBA-style cap spike, and while other GMs operate like bargain hunters, she's preparing the Fever to throw around blank check offers in a marketplace that's about to explode thanks to the league's new $2.2 billion media rights deal with Disney, Amazon, and NBC. A deal that obliterated the old $60 million structure owners long used to justify low salaries. This revenue surge triggered the WNBA to opt out of the current CBA, and the Fever front office knows the salary cap will skyrocket, turning the WNBA from a modest domestic league into a global entertainment product where max contracts could jump from $200,000 to nearly $800,000. And at the center of this financial revolution is Caitlin Clark, whose rookie salary of $76,000 became a viral symbol of the league's outdated economics. Yet her patience and star power now position her for a 2026 Supermax designed not only to reward her value as the franchise's economic engine, responsible for ticket sales, charter flights, and record-breaking merchandise, but also to counter the threat of Breanna Stewart's new 3-on-3 league in Miami, which offers equity stakes and 6-figure payouts for minimal games. To keep Clark loyal to 5-on-5 basketball, the Fever are preparing a package that could eclipse $1 million annually once marketing deals are included. But they also know a superstar needs a co-star, and that's where Lexie Hull's stunning rise from a fringe roster player to the league's most efficient three-point shooter completely reshaped the team's blueprint. Her chemistry with Clark developed in months, not years, turning her into an indispensable piece the Fever now consider untouchable, and instead of a modest extension. She's expected to receive a contract paying her like a legitimate second star to ensure the duo remains intact during the coming financial boom. All of this is happening because the Fever recognize a hard truth. Money, toughness, and timing win championships, and Indiana is finally gearing up to play the game the way the future demands. It's a harsh truth, but the tape doesn't lie. Caitlin Clark was hip-checked by Kennedy Carter, knocked down by Angel Reese, and targeted by veterans with borderline dirty physical play while her teammates mostly watched. A group of nice girls facing opponents who wanted to hurt them, and Kelly Krauskopf knows this cannot continue because she comes from the 90s era of basketball where enforcers like Rodman and Oakley existed to make sure the superstar never got touched. The The Fever have identified a glaring roster weakness. They lack a villain and enforcer, someone willing to take a technical foul to send a message, which leads to the most explosive rumor of the 2026 plan. The aggressive pursuit of free agent Sophie Cunningham, the league's most irritating, physical, trash-talking antagonist who also happens to be a lethal shooter. And the Fever are reportedly ready to overpay during the cap spike to pry her away from Phoenix and build a lineup where Clark runs. The offense, Hull spaces the floor, and Cunningham protects the perimeter, instantly shifting the psychological balance from Indiana being bullied to Indiana doing the bullying. This move is about attitude as much as stats, a plan to buy a bodyguard who can drop 15 a night while forming a big three that mirrors the bad boy Pistons or today's Celtics, a blend of elite skill and elite toughness designed to destroy the franchise's decade-long lovable loser reputation and replace it with fear and dominance, funded by a new salary cap that allows depth and star power to coexist. But the real engine behind all of this is the rise of the unrivaled 3-on-3 League, a private equity-backed disruptor offering players equity and massive paydays, threatening to siphon off top talent unless the WNBA and the Fever specifically step up financially, which is why Indiana is entering a bidding war not just with rival teams, but with an entirely new business model. Thanks to the Clark effect, the Fever have the cash to fight this war, leading the league in attendance, merchandise sales, and viewership, generating enough revenue to reinvest directly into massive contracts for Hull and Cunningham while preparing a super max for Clark, creating a perfect economic cycle where fan money becomes roster upgrades, which become wins which generate even more fan money. If Indiana pulls this off, locking in Clark, extending Hull, and poaching Cunningham, it will ignite a league-wide salary arms race, forcing teams like the Liberty and Aces to match their spending, inflating player salaries across the WNBA, pressuring smaller franchises, and finally giving players the financial liberation they've long deserved. Because Krauskopf isn't just building a super team, she's rewriting the league's economy and forcing owners to share the wealth simply by leaking her intentions and letting the rumors take over the conversation. When word leaked about Sophie Cunningham and the mountain of cap space waiting in 2026, the Fever sent a message before the season even began. They were basically announcing, "We're coming," and trying to manufacture the same aura of inevitability that defined every major sports dynasty from the 90s Bulls to the 2010s Warriors, teams that overwhelmed opponents with talent and money before the game even started. Yet Kelly Krauskopf understands that the greatest sin in pro sports is mediocrity, the slow death of wasting a generational star by surrounding her with mid-tier talent and praying for miracles, the same mistake that stranded Luka Doncic in the NBA. So the Fever front office is going all in as the WNBA shifts from survival to excess, using the media money explosion to assemble a historic roster where Clark is the engine, Hull the turbocharger, and Cunningham the armor plating, creating what could become the first billion-dollar dynasty in women's sports if the contracts land as planned. The money exists, the blueprint is public, the targets are locked, and all that remains is signing the checks, because Indiana is wagering everything on 2026, and if they hit, they won't just own the league, they'll rewrite the history books, raising the stakes while holding every ace at the table.